Hey, so today's video is another video with professional stringer Paul Skip. Now, you might recognize Paul from previous videos. I interviewed him after his stringing job at the Australian Open, and we also did a video on racket customization. Paul is one of the best racket stringers in the world, and I'm super lucky to have him with me at my club. And so I hope you enjoy this video where we talk about his experience in running the stringing team at Wimbledon this year and stringing for not one, but 2 Wimbledon champions. Let's get into it. So today I'm with stringing legend Paul Skip. You guys have seen him before. We had an interview after the Australian Open, and we did a previous one about some different specs and tensions and things, I think, didn't we, in the snow. Thank you for your time, Paul.
You're welcome, Ashley.
So first question, you've obviously got back from Wimbledon.
Yep.
You've done 2 weeks at Wimbledon plus pretty much all of the grass court season.
Yep.
How has it been?
Busy, very busy, long hours, tiring. So I've come back for a bit of a break.
You say long hours and tiring. How many rackets were you stringing a day?
Busiest days, you're probably looking 30, 35 a day.
A lot. Sore hands?
Not too bad. They're a little bit worn at the moment.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
How would you compare stringing a Grand Slam to a smaller tournament, a 1 week tournament?
Basically, it's just the number of rackets, obviously the number of players you've got to deal with as well. It's just managing all, trying to get it all done, scheduling, making sure you meet players' expectations. It's just the same thing, but on a much, much bigger scale.
So I think we know the answer to this, but what was the highlight of your 2 weeks at Wimbledon?
Well, I think nothing's going to beat stringing for Alcaraz all the way through the tournament. And then obviously seeing him win it that match point on that 5-set match against Djokovic.
Yeah, pretty epic. And I asked you before, do you get a small trophy, a little Wimbledon trophy?
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't think so. Hopefully I'm going to get something else. I've asked, but we'll wait and see on that.
Okay, nice. You have got some pretty cool memorabilia from some of your other tournaments that you've strung at. What's been your coolest bit of stash or goodies?
Well, I've got a signed Dominic Thiem racket from Wimbledon, so that's limited because it's in Wimbledon paint. It's only ever used at Wimbledon, so there's not that many of those around, so I was lucky enough to get that from somebody. I've got a few other signed bits. I've got a Davis Cup signed shirt from the GB winning team in 2015 as well, so that's another nice bit as well.
And I've seen up in your pro shop you've got a little Rafa Funko Pop figure signed by him. Yeah,
I've got one of those as well. I just need to get a signed Roger to have the matching pair.
Nice, I'm sure you'll get that one day. So that's the highlight of your 2 weeks, obviously stringing for the champion. You strung for another champion this year?
Strung for doubles, obviously Neil Skupski, Wesley Koolhof. First British man since Johnny Murray, 2012, which I also strung for. So, maybe there's a bit of a trend going on here. Any Brit doubles player want to win Wimbledon and get to the final, let me string it and see what we can do.
Nice. And you've come back to the Avenue. We've got County Week going on behind you. Probably hear lots of shouting going on, but this seems like a bit of a rest since coming back from Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's these guys are a little bit more relaxed, although I've already had to do one on court, so they are obviously pumped. This is Division 2, so they want to get to Division 1. So, they need their rackets done as much as the pros do.
So we're going to talk specifically about stringing for Carlos Alcaraz a little bit later in the video, but first some general things. Have there been any themes that you've seen across the board since when you started stringing back in the day to now? Are there any big changes in how people are getting their rackets strung?
Yeah, back in when I started Wimbledon in 2004, there was a lot more gut involved, full bed gut. Now it moved away from that onto polyesters. Now there's a move to go back to gut and hybrids now. So you'll have players who will play on the grass and then they're changed either from a full poly to a poly gut hybrid, or even one of the doubles players, he's switched from his poly gut hybrid to a gut poly just to get a little bit more feel on the ball and maybe a little bit more ball speed as well. Even at this slow as grass now, it's still going quite quickly for these guys.
Yeah, is that generally why people would tend to use more gut during the grass court season, just to get a bit more pop?
It's more, I think, more to be is more like feel.
Okay.
I think it gives a better feel than anything else, but it will give you a little bit more ball speed as well.
So more dealing with the oncoming speed as opposed to putting speed onto the ball?
Yeah, just get a little bit of better feel, because obviously just a 1 degree out on their racket can make a difference, and it's just a little bit better feel in doing that.
So I saw a video recently, a player was talking about stenciling on his racket, and he was actually using a tennis ball to rub it off, as they were saying that it plays differently. What's your experience of that?
To be honest, I don't think it should, but obviously I'm not the one out there hitting the balls all the time. You may notice with something like a Technofiber logo that certain players have it in different areas. Now, one of those may be because they don't want it where they hit the ball, because they don't want the stencil to be on that area, but obviously they still got contractual things to do. They have to have the logo on there. So, you know, you take someone like Iga, she has a lot lower, whereas you take someone like Chris Eubanks, who obviously has successful Wimbledon, his is a little bit higher up the string bed. Now, maybe that's just an aesthetic thing, maybe that's just a focus thing, we're not really sure of. But there will be some players who will turn and go, you know, can you just put a light dusting of ink on there and not go too heavy on it, which is, you know, it's fine.
Interesting. So let's focus on your stringing for Carlos Alcaraz then. So what was it like? Did you feel any extra pressure? You know, he was one of the favourites to get through to the final at least.
I wouldn't say there was extra pressure, obviously, other than being world number one. I wouldn't say favourite for the title, but certainly one of them. You know, we've got to go there, we do our job to the best of our ability, as we do for every player. And, you know, for some reason it seemed to work this time. Like I said, you know, I strung for him when he won Queens sort of the week or so before that. So, you know, that's good. It's good. There was probably less pressure at the Wimbledon because I'd already strung for him at Queens. So, you know.
He hasn't lost a grass court match using your strings, so that's
that is correct. Yes,
yeah.
He's won 2 grass court titles, and I've strung for him on both occasions. So
good omen. Maybe he'll end up leaving the Avenue and being his touring stringer.
Yeah, maybe I need to learn some Spanish first. So.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah, dos cervezas, por favor.
Going back to stringing, what string tension and string is he using?
So Carlos he's using RPM Blast 130. 25 kilos on the mains, 23 on the crosses. Nothing spectacular about the string. It's the same string that you could come and have, and I could string your racket exactly the same way if you wanted to. There's nothing special about it. It's nothing super duper string. It's regular RPM Blast.
It's funny, when Paul got back to the Avenue after stringing at Wimbledon, I told all the players on the court that he'd strung Carlos's racket, and he had a queue out of the door of people wanting a restring from Paul. He's no different. He was still a world-class stringer before stringing for Alcaraz, but everybody got the bug. So you made a lot of new strings.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot of people asking the questions, and that's good.
Did anybody ask for his setup, or were they wise enough to realise?
No one asked for the setup, and to be honest, I'd be looking at that player and going, yeah, that won't work for you. You know, and some players may go, it may work for you, give it a go.
Not everybody plays like Carlos, do they?
Absolutely not.
No. And the great thing about Carlos is he's a bit of a hybrid between, you know, you call them the big three, the Roger, the Rafa, and the Novak, in the way that he plays. So he's a very, very unique player. Yeah,
definitely. You know, it was seen as a successor to Rafa, particularly being Spanish, but he doesn't hit the spin like Rafa does. He goes through the ball a little bit more, maybe a little bit more like Roger does. And obviously he's got some very great defence like Novak's got as well.
Does he have multiple rackets? For the final, for example, did he have 6 rackets in his bag that was freshly strung? How did it look?
All his rackets, say he had 4 strung before the final, all exactly the same tension, no difference. He then had 2 sent during the match at the end of the 4th set, so we had to get those back to him as soon as possible so he could get back in the game, and obviously I'd like to think it worked for that 5th set as well.
Definitely did. He kept his cool and he played some amazing tennis.
Yeah.
One of the best finals I've seen in a long time, actually. It's amazing to see the world number 1 and 2 play a 5-setter in the Wimbledon final. That's, I think, what everybody wants to see, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, you know, maybe you've been a little bit concerned after that first set, but I think that shows the growing confidence and maturity of Alcaraz. He's confident in himself, knows what he can do, and to be mentally tough in doing it.
Incredible. Well, it's a great story. Big well done to you, and hopefully they send over that pineapple on top of that trophy.
That'd be nice.
One day. Otherwise, I'll go to the Portsmouth Trophy Centre to see if
that's
make
fine.
something up.
Yeah.
Right, going on to your setup then.
Yes.
You were telling me about you're actually using a pro player's setup to test it out. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so sometimes when I look at what the players are using, sometimes I think, I wonder what that will play like. So I've come back, I've strung my own racket, so this is Prestige. And I'm using the Mazzetti setup, so he has head Hawk rough in the mains and head Lynx Tour in the crosses. Now he normally strings at 24 kilos. I'm a little bit lower than that. I'm at 44 pounds, which is about 20 kilos or something like that. So I'm going to have a hit with this later and see what it's like.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear your feedback, but you do like to experiment a little bit. What do you keep going back to?
My normal string is just Heads Links Tour, same tension, 44 pounds. It's a string I like. I think it plays very well. There's more pros on the tour using it now, including Andrei Rublev's moved to it now as well. So I think it's a decent string. Plays well, seems to hold up quite well. But it's going to be interesting to see what this combination is going to play like.
Yeah, let us know. Feedback in the comments of this video, actually. It will be, I think people will want to know about it.
Yeah, sure.
Nice. Right, finally, I've got some quick fire questions for you. Okay. So, ready?
Yep.
Favourite slam?
Wimbledon.
Favourite surface to play on?
Probably a hardcore.
Hardcore. Not clay anymore, not into the sliding so much.
I love the sliding.
Yeah, but the even bounce is just too good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your favourite event to string at?
Davis Cup for GB.
For the atmosphere.
Atmosphere is great.
Yeah,
Good team atmosphere.
Camaraderie.
Definitely.
Lots of funny stories that you can't share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. What is the toughest racket to string?
So off one on the pro, there's a doubles player, and his racket you have to get right because you actually have to basically stretch the racket because it's so soft, and it has to be to an exact length. He's very picky on that.
Stretch the racket or stretch the string?
No, I have to stretch this racket.
Stretch the racket?
Yeah, because it's so soft. If you don't, then it goes out of shape.
Wow, I've not heard of that before.
Did I not tell you that?
No.
No, yeah.
I
so
thought when you said stretch, I thought you meant stretching the string.
No, you have to stretch the frame. So, which is difficult because you stretch the racket, you string the racket, and then you may actually end up that it's not the right length. So it can be a bit of a trial and error thing, but that's one of the hardest ones to do because you have to string the racket knowing that it may not actually turn out correctly. But luckily enough, through the grass when I saw him this year and in Madrid as well, I managed to get them pretty much spot on. He was very happy with that, and he sent me a nice message after Wimbledon saying thanks very much, which I wasn't expecting, but I did appreciate that. It was good to hear from him.
It's nice.
Yeah,
nice to get the recognition, and you know, he's definitely going to be a repeat customer. He'll enjoy having you doing his rackets next time, won't he?
Well, it's certainly one when he turns around and he sees me and says, "You'll string my rackets."
Yeah.
Don't get no choice in that. But
we can't say
fine.
we can't say who it is, but I might put it in the comments. No, I won't.
Yeah. If someone mentions it, I'll say yes or no.
Okay, cool. So yeah, who do you think it is? Put it in the comments. Okay, we talked about your racket. That's the Heads Prestige.
Yeah.
Have you used that for a while?
Yeah, I've used it for a number of years now. I've used it in the past, went through different iterations of the rackets, and I've gone back to the Prestige.
New one's coming out soon, so you can test that one out.
Yeah, I'll have a hit with that one.
Nice. Overgrip, yes or no?
Yes.
Tacky or absorbent overgrip?
A little bit more on the tacky side.
What have you got?
Head Prime Tour, which is similar to the Wilson Pro Grip.
Yeah, I've got that one too. It's a nice combination, isn't it, of the two?
It's a good grip.
Final one, rough or smooth?
Rough.
Rough. Are you a bit rough on court?
No, I'm very smooth.
You are smooth, aren't you?
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth when I hit the ball.
Yeah, very good. Well, Musetti's set up. You've got to have a smooth backhand for that, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I think mine may work with it.
Yeah, nice. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Absolute pleasure as always.
Okay.
If you guys have any comments or questions for Paul, let us know in the comments. He likes lurking around in the comments, so he'll probably get back to you. And if he doesn't, I will. Big thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.